I'm Travis Frame, and this is Frame by Frame, and today I will be concluding with the ninth episode, my analysis videos on Lars von Trier's Depression Trilogy. So, after my extensive description of these films, one might ask why I think so highly of them. Why would I subject myself to these disturbing and uncomfortable films about depression not once, but multiple times? Why would I intentionally put myself through the experience of watching films I've described as gross and vile, and that I've stated I would not recommend to almost anyone? In other words, what makes me so fascinated with these three films by this wacky Danish guy? My simple answer is the fact that I feel like these films portray depression in a complex and non cliche way that helps to elevate them above other films that deal with the subject matter. Antichrist is an incredibly disturbing film, but it has an ocean of symbolism to delve into and analyze. The number of possible interpretations of the film are immense, and it is fascinating in this sense. Melancholia is crushing and sad, and yet so importantly impactful. It feels so real despite the strange concept. It is a movie that is relatable, even with its sci-fi elements, and that is what helps make it so effective in what it's trying to accomplish. And Nymphomaniac is a fascinating epic unlike anything I've ever seen. It is complex and careful. It is chaotic yet so organized. Nymphomaniac is an exercise on philosophy and societal perception in a way that is absolutely stunning to me. Each of these films is also impeccably written and masterfully directed by von Trier, which adds so much to the watchability and power of the films. It's not just the work of von Trier that makes the film so spectacular, though. The cinematography in each is absolutely stunning, and the editing, while often very strange, is used so effectively in communicating the ideas of the films. I love these films. I love them so much, and it is not purely for the symbolic nature of them. I think they're incredibly well put together in a technical sense, which is what allows them, in my opinion, to ride the line between artful filmmaking and pretentious. These films are not basic, they're not normal, and they're not easy to digest. There might be drawbacks to many people. To me, they're massive positives. However, these aren't even my favorite Von Trier films. I like The House That Jack Built and Dogville significantly more than I like either of these. And that might just be because of the fact that they're slightly less depressing, while House That Jack Built is not any less disturbing. In fact, I don't think that any of these three films are perfect. I think each has its own problems. So why not analyze Dogville or The House That Jack Built? I think that my decision to talk about these films is because depression is not a subject I see talked about a lot, and it is something that should be not as stigmatized as it is. It's not a fun thing to talk about for sure, but it's important. One of my biggest takeaways from these films is that Von Trier thinks people should be able to openly talk about mental health and depression without fear. He criticizes society throughout the films, not because he likes, but because he wants to see change and adaptation in the world around us. Writing this was very uncomfortable for me, and making these videos was as well. But that's part of the reason I needed to do it. As someone who does not often like to talk about my own feelings, I feel like I can help do my part in the destigmatization of the subject matter by talking about it in a respectful and thoughtful way. These films are so much more than surface level, and though I've seen and read many analyses of each of the films in their own right, I have not seen an analysis go as in depth into all three and their connections as I've wanted. These films are rich for conversation and discussion. I wanted to take my own experiences and thoughts and combine them with the thoughts of Von Trier to see what I could come up with in terms of analyzing these movies. I've spent a lot of time writing this because it's not simply a quick throwaway project. It is a project about films that I greatly appreciate that deal with a subject matter that is very close and personal to me. I think that writing about these films has helped me not only to understand the film better, but understand the person of Von Trier. I have learned a lot while making this, and while this is only my interpretation, I stand by it, and I hope that it can be of some help to other people as well, whether it's discussing and talking about the destigmatization of not talking about mental health, or it's just understanding the movies better. I hope that maybe these videos will help people appreciate not only the filmmaking of Von Trier, but of other controversial but talented filmmakers. Just because something isn't fun to watch doesn't make it a bad movie. And I hope those that watch these videos can gain that takeaway, along with the takeaway that taking risks with films that you watch can have massive payoffs in terms of the intellectual and artistic enrichment you can obtain through viewing these. As hard as it was to write about these films, I hope other people are able to get as much out of these videos as I was able to get doing my writing and research. And speaking of the writing and research, I did a lot of work putting all of these stuff together. I watched a lot of other content creators' videos. I read a lot of articles, and then I did some research on psychology, none of which is stuff that I'm super familiar with. I like movies and I like architecture. And so a lot of this was new information to figure out. And so I want to make sure I give credit where credit's due. And in the description and comments of this video, I will link all the videos I watched, all of the articles I found, because this, while everything I said is my own opinion, my own thoughts and takeaways from the films, watching these videos, reading these articles did definitely help form my opinion and help form my understanding. And it would be disrespectful to not mention them and the great work that those people did with their analysis that helped me with mine. And so if you liked these videos, please make sure to check out those videos because, and the articles too, because they're fascinating and they give different perspectives than mine. And I love good film discourse. And if you think my opinions are garbage or trash, I'm happy to understand why. And I'd love to talk about it. I'd love to talk about these films. I love to talk about films in general. And this was a really long process getting these together. I know it took forever from the first time I posted that one video to now, but we are finally here, and I loved the process of making this. And hopefully, I'll make another analysis video, more maybe even another series. I mean, as I said, I love the works of Von Trier, but I also love the works of other controversial filmmakers. And I don't want to just stick to this one filmmaker, even though I truly appreciate his work for as strange of a person as he is. But I love talking about film, and I hope that everyone enjoyed this as much as I did. Obviously, it's probably not the most fun videos that you watched or listened to, but maybe you got something out of it that was completely different than I was hoping for. So that's my biggest hope, is that people are able to take away something from this. And thank you so much for sticking with it through 9 episodes. I'm not even sure how long the total content of this is going to be by the end. It might be longer than one of the movies. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for going through the process of these videos with me. Thank you.